Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. Last week I started a card challenge using a sketch. Then everyone could share their cards on my Instagram and Facebook page. It was very popular and I received quite a few requests for more card challenges. So today I'm starting a new one. The card challenge this week is to use polka dots on your card. For my card, I'm pulling out some older product from Love from Lizi kit. I believe this was the July kit from last year. So I still had some extra paper. There was some ephemera, some enamel dots, and then these are really fun little epoxy sentiment stickers. They have a little bit of dimension to them and they're see-through. So those are fun. You can put them on some pattern paper and still see the paper through that sentiment. And then there were also a couple of washi tape rolls that were included in this kit. So everything I'm using is from Love from Lizi's July kit from last year. I have 2 sheets of pattern paper. I have this polka dot paper in purple and then this little stripe paper. And I will be using a card sketch. You don't have to use this sketch for your entry. I just love using card sketches. This is MFT sketch number 312. And I will share this sketch with the measurements on my coordinating blog post if you do want to try that sketch out. So I'm just trimming down the pattern paper, following the sketch measurements fairly closely. And I've already gone ahead and cut out the solid cardstock I'll be using. I have some dark purple cardstock for those matted layers, and then that background piece is some white pearlescent paper. Generally for my matted layers, I add another 1/8 of an inch on top of the measurements that are on the sketch. So those measurements that are listed on the sketch are for the pattern paper. I do modify those measurements quite a bit. It just depends on what papers I have left over or maybe what size sentiment or image I want to use. For this stripe paper going across the card, since the 2 outside ends are going off of that purple and that purple cardstock, I want to make sure they don't dip down on the ends. So I just added a scrap of cardstock on each side. That way it stays nice and level on the card. So now I'm pulling out both of the washi tapes. I'm going to start with this gold glittery washi tape and put it toward the bottom of this striped paper, just leaving a small area underneath there, and then I'll add a row of this magenta foil washi tape right underneath it. And I do just cut the washi tape a little bit wider than that card panel, and then I just wrap the ends behind. That way they don't come off later on the card. So now I'll just adhere this panel to some purple cardstock, and I did leave a 1/4 of an inch for that outside border. Whenever I use white paper for the background, I like to have that wider border. I think it adds a little more contrast. Now for the image, I have 2 different circle die cuts. One is out of an off-white pearlescent paper, and then I use the same purple for that matted layer. And I cut that last circle out of the background just to save on paper. Now since this is going over those 2 strips of washi tape, I'm trying to keep it nice and level on the card. So I did add some foam squares on the top and bottom portion, and then just use some liquid adhesive in the center. I chose one of the ephemera pieces, this little popsicle. This is fun, it has a little topping that looks glittery on it. And then for the sentiment, I'm going to use this smallest sentiment that has Hello Sunshine. And I decided to put it on some solid purple cardstock. That way it doesn't get lost in all of that busy background pattern paper. So since it is sticky, I can just adhere it straight to that cardstock. And the corners are rounded, so I just used my scissors and trimmed off those little corners. And then I'll be adhering it right next to the popsicle. And again, trying to keep everything nice and level. I'm going to put some thicker foam dimension on the left-hand side of the sentiment, and then just a couple layers of cardstock on the right-hand side. So I just keep placing it on top to make sure I'm getting it level or seeing if I need to add another layer. So once I have it nice and even, I'll just put some liquid adhesive on that paper side and then adhere it to my card. And then just to finish it all off, I'm going to use some of the enamel dots and just put 3 of them in the upper left-hand corner. And I decided just to use the purple. It has enough contrast that it still stands out. And then I wanted to add a little extra shine to the popsicles, so I'm using some Glossy Accents on that glittery topping. So now it has a really pretty shine. And there is my finished card. I love how this one turned out. If you do want to join me in my challenge, you can head over to my Instagram page or my Facebook page. Use hashtag Kristie's Card Challenge. You do have to make sure to spell my name correctly or I won't be able to see it. I think some people have left off the E. So make sure you're using the correct hashtag, and I will go and check those out. As long as you don't have a private account, I'll be able to see them. If you aren't already following them, I do have links to my Instagram and my Facebook account down in the description box below. There is no time frame for the challenge. It is just for fun. This is a great way to inspire and encourage one another. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.